Right now, it is time for the Way Black History Fact, and today's Way Black History Fact is sponsored by Major Threads. For innovative, fashionable sportswear, check MajorThreads.com. This comes from KTALnews.com, and we're going to talk about black-owned oil companies. How about that? Something I never conceived of before.
Let's talk about it.
All right, so his name was Odessa St. Strickland, and in the early 1900s, he invented a device that traced and defined the boundaries of oil and gas deposits. In 1940 alone, 139 out of 140 of the locations discovered by Strickland's invention produced oil and gas. But Strickland, his big claim to fame came about because of his involvement in what many newspapers of the 1930s referred to as the first black-owned oil company in the United States. Universal Oil, Gas, and Mining Company's headquarters was located at 1051.5 Texas Avenue in Shreveport. UOGMC got its start at the very beginning of the Great Depression, when the company had only $20 left in its entire treasury after paperwork was filed for the charter. The charter was filed with the Caddo Parish Clerk in October of 1930. General Manager O.S. Strickland grew the corporation until it owned and controlled oil lands, wells, drilling machinery, and carrying lines that were worth more than $500,000. In April 1931, the company completed its number one J.T. Brown for a daily estimated production of 8,000 barrels, according to the Longview News Journal. The well was in the Prue survey. By next August, the company amended its charter to increase capitalization to 10,000 shares of $10 per value. In 1932, 3 black women were on the board of directors. Fast forward to 1937, and 4 of the 9 directors were women. J.L. Jones was president by 1937. Jones had been a beloved educator and principal in Minden. He had been president of the Louisiana Colored Teachers Association. The company was known to shape and train young black men and turn them into oil engineers, mechanics, oil drillers, as well. But in 1937, oil field workers had to hold their ground when they were shot at by a white mob near Lulling, Texas. By 1941, Universal had acquired a cable tool drilling rig that they installed on a well in Kentucky. The rig was destroyed completely in August of 1940. The culprit? A gas blowout. But in the same year, daily oil production from all Universal wells in Texas, Kentucky, and Louisiana hit 380 barrels a day. Before his death, Strickland wrote an editorial for Black Citizens of Shreveport. Quote, "It has been our ambition to organize a company that could take in all phases of the oil and mining industry with an exclusive Negro personnel and employ men and women to operate every phase of the business, in which we have been considerably successful, for we have Negro drillers, lease operators, field agents, and geologists and engineers, all of whom are Negroes and trained in their particular line of work." Strickland was writing on the subject of World War II and the oil industry. Quote, "We pledge to do our bit for the safety and protection of our country," he promised. He died on September 16th, the same year, and was buried in the Shepherd Street Cemetery in Minden, Louisiana. Now, before we move on, I want to say something. The time's very different, and to have an exclusively black roster of employees was a remarkable feat, because many of these people could not be educated to that point at the time. Formally. So for them to be independent and successful without relying on white folks was a badge of honor, especially back then. Nowadays, a lot of people would say that that's reverse racism or something like that, but I wanted to have its proper historical context, that at the time that was quite an accomplishment. So shout out to them.